How do I look on here? Good?
Subjective.
Spice up that intro a little bit today, Stephen.
Why don't you do it? Show me how it's done.
Hey, what up? It's your boy, Kevin.
Oh, boy.
It's your boy. You like that? Hey, fam. Oh, I hate that.
You've been watching too much YouTube.
I'm nervous to talk about this.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but literally the first bullet point speaks to that.
Oh, yeah. I don't read the notes. All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. This is a series for financial advisors. We offer easy to implement marketing and practice management advice. This is the Stephen and Kevin Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 122 of the Stephen and Kevin Show. And today we're going to be talking about launching a practice.
We have been a part of and helped launch over 150 new firms in the last 2 years. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And we're doing so not from a legal side of things. We're not helping with transitions in terms of clients. We're just here from a marketing perspective. But we've learned a lot about how that should work when it goes really well.
Yes.
And what are some worst practices when it doesn't go so well? We're not advocating one model over the other. We've got tons of wirehouse clients, lots of independents. We think both are great. But there are times when people come to us and say we need name and logo and website and all the things that it takes to run an independent practice, and we're happy to lend a hand. So again, we're not advocating one model or the other, but we do want to share some best practices with regards to launching a new brand, whether you're launching from scratch or whether you're moving from one model to another. A lot of these practices apply.
Yeah, and the advisors who have the most success with this are the ones who prepare thoroughly, they communicate really clearly, and then they also do everything with the highest level of credibility, right? This is not something where if you're launching your own practice, this is not a time where you're going to cheap out. And I've seen it. I've seen advisors come in and try and cut line items and do things on the cheap. And I get it. I mean, maybe you are restricted in that way, but if you're not, this is not the time to do that. This is a big, big step in your career.
No, I mean, oftentimes you're leaving an organization that's got incredible branding.
Yes.
Long-standing, over 100 years of reputation. You're leaving a really, really reputable entity.
Right.
So no, it's not the time to cheap out, but we see it.
We see it all the time. Yeah.
I mean, I've told you before, I had a guy that was wanting to do his own logo. He's like, oh, I can do this with AI. And I'm like,
yeah, you can.
Go ahead, man. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. But do you want your clients walking around with a coffee mug with something that you kind of came up with on the fly with the help of AI or Canva?
Exactly.
Not really.
So yeah, so this is not the time for that. And again, we're thinking prepare in advance. So we're going to take you kind of from beginning to end here today. We're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to take you through the whole marketing process and what that looks like. And
where a lot of this comes from, Kevin, is when you've done 150 of these over 2 years, you start to pick up little ideas that make a transition go more smoothly.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they want this? That's a really good idea. We should make sure that's a part of everybody's launch package.
True. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. So we're going to start with the very beginning here. And this is to set a realistic launch date. And I know this is boring. But I think this is really important as well. Don't come to a firm like ours and say, hey, I want to launch in 2 weeks. We can do it. We have done it. No one's a fan of it.
Well, guess what? Your clients can tell that you decided to launch in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the end product is never going to be quite as good as it would be if we could really think through everything. So ideally 2 to 3 months. Ideally, and then the other point I want to make about that, so let's say, hey, in 3 months we're launching on this date. Perfect. There's going to be hurdles and decisions that have to be made in a timely manner. So don't delay. If you delay one decision, let's say you delay naming or delay logo, then everything else is going to get pushed back and then something's going to suffer. So, for us, we have an account manager that would work with the advisor and they're going to give you firm deadlines on everything. Try to stick to those as best you can.
You sound like this is maybe a pet peeve of yours.
This is a pet peeve of mine. It's something I'm dealing with today, actually. And we see it, and I see it especially on the naming and logo side, right? Because then it's like, oh, they wait, and then it's like, okay, now we're building a website in a couple weeks, and it's not ideal.
Yeah, well, let's be clear. There are way more decisions to make when you're independent.
Yes.
You've got, from a marketing side of things, you went from an environment where you didn't really have to make a ton of decisions, maybe the copy on your website or where you get your photography done. Other than that, what decisions do you really have to make from a digital marketing standpoint?
True.
Now you've got before you launch, dozens of decisions to make. They're not all going to be perfect, but they have to be made.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to, I don't want to say micromanage, but you can't afford to, dance around, take forever. You got to make some moves.
Yeah. Say, hey, you know what? This is good enough. Now we need to move to the next phase.
Yeah.
So set a realistic launch date and make decisions on time.
What's the first thing you got to figure out, Kevin?
Name.
Yeah.
What are you going to call yourself? And if you come to the plate with a name, great. If you're moving to an entity that is legally going to require you to come up with a name that's completely unique, it's going to take time. It's going to be difficult. It's done. We do it all the time, but just understand that you're going to have to devote some time and energy into it and be open-minded if you have to come up with a name that no one else, no other financial firm has.
I like to say if you have to come up with something that nobody has ever used, nobody's ever used it for a reason.
I get that, but we've also come up with some really great names by doing mashups, combining names, that kind of stuff. So we have, but what I think it is that if no one's ever used it, you're going to have to put a lot of creative energy behind it. The other thing I want to mention about names is if you decide to use your own name, that's okay, but I will tell you there are potential issues there. And we ran into one recently where this team is coming in and it's 2 advisors and they're going to use their names together. Cool.
They have the same name?
No, they have different names.
Oh,
so it's going to be like a combo,
gotcha.
like Boswell Nichols, right? Wealth management. And then they, right now during the process, they're saying, by the way, after we launch, another advisor is going to join us and they're not excited about it being called Boswell Nichols. So you've created this issue.
It's like a law firm now.
Yeah. It's
Boswell, Nichols, Lescano.
Yes, exactly. Like you have to keep adding on to it. So just beware of that if you do plan to use your name.
Yeah, it's a tough decision when you got to make, and that leads you into logo, right? Once you've got a name, you can then settle in on logo. And we're going basically, gang, in order of operations here. As if we were going to do this for you, what order do we have to go in? You come up with a name, then you have a logo because the logo is going to inform your website, your stationery, your signage, all that stuff. You got to come up with that next.
And when you're thinking about your logo, I think this is where you're thinking about the credibility aspect of it. Like you mentioned, maybe you are exiting a firm with amazing branding and a lot of marketing horsepower. We don't want a logo that looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint back in the day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or ChatGPT nowadays. The credibility, it either communicates instant credibility or it doesn't. Like that is the absolute truth here. You can look at the logo and decide, and I mean, you have to think about it from the client standpoint. This is a big move for them too. And are you communicating that credibility right away? Also, we're thinking versatility. Can that logo be used across lots of different electronic mediums? Stephen, we're thinking versatility of the logo, memorability of the logo, and does it set you up for future growth? If we're designing a logo for a firm, we're thinking, could you imagine this on a big building with a ton of employees? Is this that type of logo, or is this just a mom and pop type of logo? And we're thinking future growth, 100%.
Love it. Next up, we need to think of other assets that you're going to need. You're going to need some photography, and you'd really benefit from some videography. Mm-hmm. Now, you can go utilitarian with this and just use the old headshot that you've always had. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, all the stuff that we're talking about, by the way, Kevin, we're not talking about millions of dollars worth of photography or logo design or website builds. You're running a small business. You're launching something new. We're not talking about crazy budgets here.
No.
But it's not an area where I would cheap out. I mean, somebody was telling us the other day, the founder's daughter knows how to, she has a camera and, I'm like, well, does she do this professionally? Is this like her line of work, or is this kind of a fun thing? Like, you can tell the end product. I mean, everybody's got a son or daughter in college who took a marketing class who fancies themselves a photographer or website builder.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you're just triggering me big time with all these
comments. It's true.
Yes, it's 100% true. Or, a firm coming in and saying, well, actually, and by the way, this was like a pretty successful advisory firm. And they said, well, the CEO's daughter was trying to build our website and it was not working. Why are we doing that? Unless they are a professional builder, unless that's what they do. They develop websites. So
Yeah, this is your livelihood. You're
Yes.
starting a practice. Invest in some photography and videography. You're going to capture both. Certainly get everybody similar headshots, right? Same background on headshots. I think that's really a polished look. But then some candid photography around the conference table in front of your office. Those are going to fill out your website. Now, that's just photography. If you want videography, which we think is a good idea, you want a couple of different types. When we go on site to do this, we say, number one, you need a launch video that speaks to your clients about what you're launching, why. What are the values that back this? What is your process for helping them? Why are you doing it?
And it makes a ton of sense to do this because it's scaling your message. When you're thinking about, we want to communicate to, this goes back to the point of communicating clearly. And a video helps you do that. It helps clients see your face as well, which they're going to want to see, by the way. And I'm going to mention that in websites that we want to put that video prominent. I don't bury that. If someone's going to the website, they need to see that right away.
And second video you want to have is just a slight twist on that, an evergreen video about us.
Yeah.
Like not, hey, this is why we're starting it, but imagine something that can live on your site for a few years even that says, here's who we are, here's what we represent, here's why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, script writing is really important on that.
So don't skip over the studio aspect of video photography when you're making this transition. It's not something you have to get done every single year. It's an exercise, every 5 years, every 10 years, even that. But it's something that it's going to be so important as you transition.
Now, also, timing matters here. A lot of people say, well, we'll do that once the dust settles.
Oh.
You're never coming back to this. You're going to be busy. And the most important time is when you launch. This is when people are deciding, does this seem like a credible entity that I would join, or should I just stick where I'm at?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So the time to do it is before, even if you don't have office space. Oftentimes we come in, it's like, well, we don't have an office yet, so how could we? Well, we'll figure it out. Do it at your country club.
Yes.
Rent some space. That part's not overly complicated.
I was going to say renting a studio on an hourly rate is not overly expensive, and it's going to make a huge difference here. Okay, so if you're looking at it again sequentially, launch date, name, logo, studio assets, right? All of this is kind of culminating to the website. And you want to give ample time for that website build so that the developers aren't rushing around and just kind of throwing things together. They can be really intentional with it. You need to think about what's the main point of your website here. But you could build a million different websites and they can all have different objectives and goals. What is the main goal of your website right now? It is to look credible and have people contact you easily and to communicate your transition. That's what we're trying to do right now.
That's a good point, Kevin. Like your first website, I don't think should be really overly focused on lead gen.
No, not at all.
It's not one that has a pop-up that says, sign up for a consultation today kind of a thing.
No.
I think to your point, credibility.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the goal of the site? Well, the goal of the site is that, hey, maybe you might be leaving a firm that, those clients are now looking at your website and they're making a decision if they're going to move or not. Does it look really polished, professional, and credible? And then can they reach out to you easily? And do they know why you left? Is that message communicated?
Now, I'm a fan of having this be robust and not just a landing page. If you've got the time to put into this,
Sure.
There's a bit of a happy medium. Now, you can start with something fairly basic and expand over time. That's very natural for people to do. But I also think, going back to where we started on this, you've got to come up with a whole lot of text and explanations that heretofore you've not had to come up with. Mm-hmm. Like if you're at a big firm, they have their stock explanations of how we manage money, the expertise we have on staff, our research and all that, our planning process. Now, all of a sudden, you've got to come up with this on your own. Mm-hmm. And there should be a well thought out explanation of this on your website. You don't have to go crazy on a site. Like you don't have to, if ultimately you want to have a podcast, you don't have to have that done before you launch a practice.
No, it doesn't. Exactly. You have to think about priorities here,
yeah.
Right? But that's like phase 2 of the website, phase 3 of the website, yeah. Right? Eventually.
I mean, the difference in websites of today versus websites of yesteryear is it's not I'm going to do it every 5 years and then a total refresh in 5 years. Like these things are editable nowadays, right? You have the ability to influence them on a week-to-week or month-by-month basis.
Yep. So really prominent CTAs contacting, hey, here's how to contact us. Here's, you want your studio assets. I want to see the advisor's face if I can in the first hero or the second panel of the site. And then the other thing here is, and this is just another idea that we pulled from an advisor who was transitioning, and he had a little banner at the top that said "Letter to Clients." So, and the idea was it's a little bit of a message as to why the transition and everything.
I like it.
So, just keep it simple, and then for now, and then we can build upon it. What else? Print materials. So now we're also thinking about, like, do I have a business card ready to go? Right? Do I have what's commonly referred to as a tear sheet, which is just contact information for each of the advisors that, again, you could print and hand out to people. Pitch decks, a PDF document of the firm, new firm. I mean, you want to look super polished and professional. This is stuff that you want to get done and have ready to go.
Also, pre-planning for social media. You've got to come up with an account. More than likely, you don't have an account.
Yep.
But that doesn't take long, especially when you have all the assets ready. So think of what we've built already. We've got logos. We've got explanations about us, like why we exist, what we do. With all that stuff in hand, setting up a social profile through Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to set up is not going to take a whole lot of time. The other part of it though is, coming up with in advance a launch series of posts that you're going to put out. What are your first posts going to be?
Yes, and having those ready to go, announcement posts. And what we found is they perform usually really well. These are important posts, and I like them. You pair these with the photography. This is why you get the photography done. This is why, because now I can see your face and it's being posted. I also like having social profiles and everything ready to go too, because when clients are searching for you, they're likely, that LinkedIn company page is likely to elevate in search results and giving you even more credibility.
You're going to have your hands full when you make a transition. And the last thing on your mind at that point, a week into it, when you're talking to clients and really, you're grinding it out, is what am I posting on social? You're not going to be thinking about that. Get it done in advance. And now the sad reality of it is that even for these high performing posts, these are going to be some of the best posts that you ever put out. People are going to be excited for you. They're going to engage with it. It's going to have more virality than most posts. You're still going to want to boost these.
Agreed.
Like your most important post, you're going to want to put some advertising dollars behind it because the networks are a little bit stingy with reach. So let's say you go nuts and put $500 behind it.
Oh, it's going to...
I'd put more.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that everybody in your local area knows exactly what's happening here and why.
Yeah.
And it's not that, think of, and I say 500 to be crazy because people are notoriously cheap about this stuff. I'd put a few grand behind it.
Agreed. And then the other thing is on a LinkedIn company page, going in and inviting your connections to like the new page, try and build it up quickly. And again, while you're building it up, you're communicating. You're getting the message out more and more.
Other setup you can do an advanced Google business profile.
Yep.
Everybody has seen these. When you look up a local restaurant, for example, you're going to have on the right side of the page contact information, reviews, pictures of the establishment. You have to take ownership of that as a business owner. Like Google may create a profile for you based on the fact that it knows you're an entity that exists. But if you want it to look reputable, you have to go through and add in some imagery and descriptions and contact information and all of that. It really doesn't take a lot of time, but a lot of people neglect that.
Oh, totally agree. Here's something else that people neglect or don't even think about. And that's the idea of running some Google ads, right on launch day. So what's going to happen, one is, I think there's two main reasons for doing this. One is that clients are going to start Googling you. They're going to say, Stephen Boswell, Oechsli, where did he go, right? And it would be really nice if an ad popped up that says Stephen Boswell launches, blah, blah, and again, you can control that narrative. We can drive people to the new website, and that's going to happen. Clients are going to be trying to figure out how to contact you and reach out to you, and they're going to Google search you.
Yeah, how do I populate the page with information that is now relevant? I don't want my old firm to come up. I mean, there's only so much of that you can control, but you control it by paying for ad placement, by launching all the different social profiles. They're going to come up. Like that's how you take over page one, reclaim your identity there.
The other thing is running Google ads for the name of your new firm, because and this happens as well. If you are purchasing you have a brand new name, you're purchasing a new domain, it's not indexed by Google at this point. It's going to take a little bit of time. Even just a search for your new firm name isn't necessarily going to guarantee that your new website's going to populate organically. And so go ahead and have some ads for the new firm name ready to go.
Super cheap, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not competing for financial advisor in New York City keywords here.
Yeah.
You're competing for your own name.
Yeah.
super cheap.
Next here is a press release. I think this is another good way to get an announcement out there. And I look at this and when you think press release, I always think it's like feels somewhat old school. But when you think about how many websites it could be listed on, and then when someone's searching for you, they're finding that announcement.
Yeah. So again, it's claiming space on Google, but it's also getting backlinks. So, for not going down too far in this rabbit hole, but for search engine optimization, what matters in terms of Google placement of your website, some of that is backlinks, other sites that are reputable linking to you. Press releases, that's how they're shared. You're putting them out on other people's website.
Yep. You could also consider a newsletter launch or an email series. Again, we're not legal, so we're not saying in terms of reaching out to past clients how that's going to work right now. But a series of what we launched, why we did it, what makes us different, our new, what we can do now. Like you could have a whole series going out, over a couple month period, just communicating that. And when you look at this, Stephen, I mean, gosh, it's a lot. But this goes back to like we're trying to make it really clear as to why we left, and hitting people from a ton of different angles. I'm not just hitting them from hey, I have a new website. Great, that's cool. I have a website. We got a press release. We got Google ads running. We got social ads running. We got signage, stationery, print materials out. I mean, it's like you got to have it all ready to go.
Credibility is huge. I mean, think about the opposite, Kevin. Let's say you launch really haphazardly. You decide I've had it. I'm launching next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we're doing this, and you've got let's say for sake of example, you've got a bit of a splash page as a website, and it very much looks under construction.
Yes,
and you've got a half-baked looking logo, kind of a haphazardly thrown together name.
I've seen it.
We've totally seen it. Yeah. And let's say you're the client. You are at big reputable firm. Yeah. The advisor goes elsewhere. You're immediately getting calls from others in the branch who have saying, "Oh, Stephen was your advisor? Yeah, he kind of went off the rails. Yeah. I think he might be trying to do is he probably got fired. Who knows?
Who knows what they're saying? Right? Yeah. There's some narrative that they're going to spin.
Yeah, somebody's calling you, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, let me look him up. And you look him up, and there's this half-baked website. Maybe they're right. Maybe he did fly off the rails.
Yeah. And I get, yes, exactly. And I get that this is time and an investment, but this is doing it right. This is bringing over more of that client retention, that client base. I mean, you bring over 1 or 2 more clients, all of this is 100% worth it.
Well, plus for many of you out there who go this route, your goal is to grow the practice, not just you as an individual, but you're hoping to recruit other people to it. There you go. And you're not going to be able to do that if for example, you name the company after yourself, that already hurts you. I'm not saying you can't, but it hurts.
Sure.
People want to join something that looks fresh, modern, well thought out.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to, let's say they go to join you, are they going to be bragging on your presence? Like, are they going to be, oh, we're really excited to join this, and it's like this landing page that's in development?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I see on LinkedIn advisors launching practices, and I'm thinking, they should have used us, or they should have used at least someone, because I see them doing it themselves, and I just don't. This is not a DIY project, in my opinion. This is a huge career move, and one that you don't take lightly. You don't. This is probably one of the biggest moves of your career, and it's something that you're going to need to invest in and put that time and energy into. Don't try and DIY this. Chat can help you in some ways. Right, but it's not the. I mean, again, I see advisors come to us and they're like, "Oh, I already made a logo via chat," and I'm like, "Oh."
You can see a social post about this. I launched an RIA in 7 days with the help of AI.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, but how thoughtful is that?
Yeah. Have you seen the new South Park at all?
Oh boy,
no.
Are you about to get political on this podcast?
No. But there is a new one that just came out, and the guy has a business, and he's launching it, and Chad is just confirming everything that he thinks. I mean, the one thing about chat is that it doesn't have really a clear point of view. It's going to tell you, and you've probably noticed using it, that, oh, great idea. Oh, that's an awesome point, right? It's not going to, you need some objectivity here. You need someone to come in and say, don't do it that way.
It's true. And a final point on all this, you want to talk to a fair amount of people about this before you launch. Like, is this name a good idea? What do you think of this way I'm explaining this or that?
Yeah.
Like, you need some opinions.
Agreed.
Anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. Subscribe, like, all those things. Share. What else did we say?
Hey, if you get to that point one day where you're saying, "Hey, I want to launch my own practice," we can do it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.